Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Is it true that I'm supposed to say something about Bhagavad Gita 223? About that? Huh? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, Maharaj?
Anyone know what's going on? Am I supposed to give a talk?
Yes, if you can. What's
223?
23?
Anyone got a book?
If Malisa will start to sing it,
Huh?
Malisa here is going to sing the words, the Sanskrit,
Oh, brilliant, yeah.
and then you can do a talk on that.
Okay. Does anyone have a book?
She has printout.
Okay, brilliant. It has the purports also?
No,
Just
translation.
Just the translation.
I want to have the
Yeah, the book
purports.
is I'll bring the book.
Shall I sit here?
Yes.
I sit. I sit here this way. This is fine. How long we have to talk?
We have an hour.
An hour?
You can do more kids if you want. 8:30.
I was told just 15 minutes.
Well, we usually start the class around 8.
Okay, we'll try this now. Let's see.
More kirtan.
Play by ear. Yeah, Harinaam.
Bible. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 So this is Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 23. Nainam Chintati Sastrani Nainam Dahati Bhavakaha Nachainam Klidayanti Apo Na Society Marutaha Nainam Chittati Sastrani Nainam Dahati Bhavakaha Nachainam Klidayanti Apo Na Society Murtaha Nainam Chintati Sastrani Nainam Dahati Bhavakaha Nachainam Klidayanti Apo Na Society Marutaha. Synonyms: na, never; enam, na,
Can
never.
they try? If other people can try, please. Other people can have a go at the Sanskrit.
Nainam Chindayanti Shastrani Nainam dahati pavakaha. Nachainam kaledayanti apo. Nashosyati marutaha.
Nayanam Chintani Shastrani Nayanam Dahati Bhagataha Nachana Kriyanti Apo Nashoshati Mamtaha
Na, never. Enam, this soul. Chindanti, can cut to pieces. Sistrani, weapons. Na, never. Enam, this soul. Dahati, burns. Pavakaha, fire. Na, never. Cha, also. Enam, this soul. Klidayanti, moistens. Apaha, water. Na, never. Sosayati, dries. Marutaha, wind. Translation. The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by wind.
Repeat, everyone, please.
The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by wind.
You're going to read on me. You can go. All right, I'll do. All kinds of weapons. That's okay, okay. All kinds of weapons, swords, flame weapons, rain weapons, tornado weapons, etc., are unable to kill the spirit soul. It appears there were many kinds of weapons made of earth, water, air, ether, etc., in addition to the modern weapons of fire. Even the nuclear weapons of the modern age are classified as fire weapons. But formerly, there were other weapons made of all different types of material elements. Fire weapons were counteracted by water weapons, which are now unknown to modern science. Nor do modern scientists have knowledge of tornado weapons. In any case, the soul can never be cut into pieces or otherwise annihilated by any kind of weapon. The Mayavadi cannot explain how the individual soul came into existence simply by ignorance and consequently becomes covered by the illusory energy. Nor was it ever possible to cut individual souls from the original Supreme Soul. Rather, the individual souls are eternally separated parts of the Supreme Soul. Because they are atomic individual souls eternally, Sanatan, they are prone to be covered by the illusory energy, unless they become separated from the association of the Supreme Lord. Just as the sparks of a fire, although one in quality with the fire, are prone to be extinguished when out of the fire. In the Varaha Purana, the living entities are described as separated parts and parcels of the Supreme. They are eternally so. According to the Bhagavad Gita also, they are eternally so, according to the Bhagavad Gita also. So, even after being liberated from illusion, the living entity remains a separate identity, as is evident from the teachings of the Lord to Arjuna. Arjuna became liberated by the knowledge received from Krishna, but he never became one with Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnanam Jana Salakaya Chaksuram Militam Dena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Savitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So very nice to be here. Thank you very much for inviting us. We just were going around the town doing kirtan in the downtown area. Many people were joining us chanting, and we came here also, and we were also intoxicated by the holy name. The Prophet said that this position of being in kirtan, in the kirtan center, this is our natural position. Just like a spark of a fire, its natural position is to be a spark, part of the fire. Same brightness as the fire, but very small. But when it drops out of the fire, it becomes a black smut. So, a spark is a spark. So, Krishna also says this in Bhagavad Gita. My Vamsa Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, all living beings are my eternal fragmental parts and parcels. So it's very nice actually, because in the human form of life, the tendency sometime in our lives to question, who am I? Why am I? Where have I come from? Where am I going? If the poor animals and plants and fishes, if you observe them, they're very dull. They're very dull. I used to have it from about age 6 to 16, or younger than that. My mother used to encourage me. I used to have like a private zoo, many aquariums, and used to keep reptiles and snakes and a lot of insects. And naturally, I was interested to see how they went through their life. The body was changing, but it seemed like the identity was the same, especially insects. My mother used to say, what will we order this year, dear? She's a very nice lady, actually, my mother. She was my first guru, actually. Because we used to order insects from L. Hugh Newman's Butterfly Farm in Bexley, Kent. I remember the address. And there used to be a catalogue used to come around. And we sent a catalogue, the latest catalogue, and you could have a lobster moth, puss moth, leopard moth, uh, so many different kind of moths, so many kind of butterflies. You could get them as eggs, you could get them as larvae, you could get them as pupa, you could get them as, alive flying things. So we used to choose them. What will you have this year? What will you feed them on? Because every insect has a particular food. Maybe feeding on privet, maybe feeding on damson leaves, dandelion leaves. Every insect has a particular food. So we used to consider this, and then we used to order them. And after about 10 days, we used to send a postal order. You go to the post office, like £3, £4 or £5. So send it off, and then you may wonder what this has got to do with it. So, but it has actually. It does. It's interesting. Because, this is my formative years. So then the box used to come, you just open it up, and there were the eggs. The eggs. And then you used to wait until they hatch out. And the little caterpillars used to come. And then after like a month or so of feeding, getting bigger and bigger. And the caterpillars are very interesting now because they hatch out right from the little egg and start eating. And then at a certain point they have to change their skin. They just don't grow, they change their skin also. And sometimes they have difficulty. And this way they go on until they're full size. And then they pupate. They go into like a ball with a hard shell. And somehow inside that shell, it's amazing, you can't believe it, all the wings and the legs and the eyes of the moth or the butterfly develop. It's just amazing. And then one day, Mommy, they hatched out. And there's a beautiful, and you can see when they immediately hatch out of the pupa, then the wings are all crumpled up. And then you can see that somehow the liquid is pumped and pumped and pumped. And the wings spread and spread and spread. It's all a beautiful moth is there. It's just a miracle. It's a living miracle. And especially with insects. I heard that Bhaktivinoda Thakur, his father was also an entomologist. He used to keep insects. And he's a thoughtful person. He thinks, well, what's going on here? Change of body. But the individual seems to be the same. The individual has changed his body radically from egg to moth. But still, what do? They only eat, they sleep, they mate and defend. Same as the fish. Fish also have eggs. And other creatures have eggs, and they go through different changes: birth, growth, adulthood, reproduction, dwindling, and death. There are different stages of living beings. The trees also, fish also, everyone. So watching nature is very instructive. Nature study. You begin to think, well, what is this living being? Where is it changing his body? Yeah. So it's a very great mystery. Even the scientists, they don't know. They can't explain how this is going on, what is going on. What is this consciousness? Maya Chatamidam Savam. What is this consciousness spreading all over the body? It makes the difference between a live body and a dead body. So you might be interested to hear Srila Prabhupada talking about this. I have a few lectures on my hat. You might be interested to hear if my hat works today. Yeah.
Music play mode.
The distinction between the living soul and the dead body, anyone can perceive. What is the distinction between the living body and the dead body? When a man is dead, his relatives cry, lament, oh, my father has gone, my son has gone. But
The radio mode.
Oh no!
Aux input mode. The Bluetooth device is ready.
You can try again.
Music play mode.
the father, as you have seen, is lying on the floor.
The radio mode.
Sorry about that. So the point is that the father that you have seen is lying on the floor. So why are you lamenting? Why are you crying? Well, why are you saying he's gone? Why are you saying he's gone? He's not gone. It's like I can see his nose, his head. No, he has gone. So why are you lamenting him? Because actually you never understood that he was not this worthy. Therefore you're lamenting it. Oh no, he's gone. So our ignorance is so great that we don't understand that each other is a spirit soul. So this is like animal life. You know, animal doesn't realize that we're not this body, we're not this sort of flesh and bones and secretions. You know, we're not this thing. Just a little bit of observation, meditation, we can see on nature, on ourselves. We say, my hand, my body, my nose, my eyes, my mind, and who am I? Yeah. Nobody could teach me this. So I was always in confusion, going to school or college. Nobody was teaching me what I was, where I came from, where I was going. I often tell this story when I was young. I'll repeat it again because it's personal, but it's really applies to all of us. One day I was with my mother. She was doing the washing up in the kitchen. I was age 6. I said, Mommy, where did we come from? Mommy, where did we come from? Good question. And my mother, she's an educated woman, studied English literature, MA, and so on. She went red in the face. Red in the face. It's strange. I said, what's strange? Why is she gone red in the face? And she said, because I think she was thinking something about sex. Where do we come from? She was thinking I came from sex. So she told me, well, when Mommy and Daddy kiss. I mean, I didn't know about the birds and the bees at that age. I had no idea. I'm 6. So I was saying, this is really weird. Mommy and Daddy kiss. You know, am I just some secretion? Where do I come from? How did I get there? That means every case that there's somehow or other someone's created, it's a mystery to me. So this, if only my mother had known Bhagavad Gita, I would wasted so much of my life before I found the books of Srila Prabhupada, Bhagavad Gita, and the explanation of Krishna. Nayanam Chintanti Shastrani, this verse we're reading today, that there is an anti-material particle. If my mother just told me, now dear, just sit down and listen. You've lived in many, many bodies. You know. Now, how's it not? In 9 lakh species, 900,000 species in the water, 200,000, 20 lakh species of plants. You get all the species, all the insects, species, animal species, fish species. Now, by the Lord's grace, you enter your mother's womb, and now you're taking your birth as my child. She couldn't explain it. She couldn't explain. And so the soul is eternal. Practically, you can see that you're changing body. That's what's on my hat. So, people wonder why I'm wearing this hat, because I'm very eccentric. But Srila Prabhupada.
Explain older.
He's lying on the floor. Why you are crying?
You can see in the hat here, the light showing the soul changing the body and transferred to use the old age. Here we are, child, use old age. This is Bhagavad Gita 2:13. Prabhupada really liked this. In Los Angeles Rath Yatra, early on, many people were lining up to see this changing bodies. These people, they need to have this pointed out to them. One time I was in Heathrow Airport. I was going through security. And this lady, she saw me in my hat. And she was in tears. She was helping me with my things. And she said, you know, my husband has just passed away. And, you know, what is going on? And she was in distress. So I showed her, I said, listen, you know, nobody dies. You can't cut the soul, you can't burn the soul, you can't do anything to the soul. Because the soul is actually an atomic particle of spirit, part of God. God is eternal and is eternally accompanied by so many living beings. It's like a fire is accompanied by sparks. So this knowledge is just not known in human society, unfortunately. I went, you know, to university and college and studied many books. But scientists, they have this idea, you probably know, that the soul, the consciousness, epiphenomena of matter. The matter, after a while, generates consciousness. And this is, you've heard of Darwin's theory, evolution of the species, survival of the fittest. Somehow or other, consciousness came from matter. So one time Prabhupada was talking with some professor, and he said, several times he talked about it. He said, my student was at Massachusetts Institute of Technology. One great professor came to talk about how life comes from matter. And so Prabhupada's student, Dr. Singh, from Manipur, India. He studied physics and chemistry and so on. So he stood up and said, I have a question, yes? What is your question? If I give you the chemicals, can you make life? If I give you the chemicals, can you make life? That I do not know. So his whole lecture was defeated by a simple question. Because our scientists have never created life, and they never will. Because matter is different, it's an external energy, whereas spirit or consciousness is completely different. We're hearing this from this verse. You can't touch spirit with anything material. This is the contribution of Srila Prabhupada. And there's a very nice book, if you would like to read that book, it's called Life Comes from Life. Prabhupada's morning walk conversations in America and other parts of the world, where he's pointing out how the scientists are cheating us, because their form of education is not telling us about the real thing, what I am. The scientists are looking down the telescope. The scientists have made a very nice, some John Webb telescope. It only cost like $10 billion, floating in space. And they're looking out at the universe to try and find the origin of the universe. But I realize it's just like a dog, a puppy dog is trying to catch his own tail. We don't know who we are, looking down the telescope, looking at our computer. We don't know who we are. So how do we know how we're created? This kind of knowledge is called inductive knowledge. It's doomed to failure because we have imperfect senses, we're likely to make mistakes, we're likely to be illusion. How can we get perfect knowledge of ourselves? Just like a baby or a young boy. He's going on the street. Excuse me, sir, are you my father? Are you my father? Are you my father? How will he find his father? By this method, this inductive method. And yet all the colleges and schools are brainwashing us into thinking that we're the Big Bang and we've come about. It's completely ludicrous. It's mad. How are we swallowing this? We must be so stupid. Nobody's seen a monkey come from man, come from monkey. Nobody's proved that life comes from matter. And yet it's all the textbooks, all the colleges, all over the world. It's actually demonic that this kind of education is done. These people are atheists. They have no understanding. They're blind, and they're making students blinder. And the politicians are following suit. And what do? Oh, let's fool the people some more. Here's a mobile phone. Here's a motor car. Here's a jet plane. They will love us for all these inventions. Now, are we any happier with all these inventions? Have they solved any of the problems of life? Do they know what are the real problems of life? Have you ever been to a class in college and they tell you the real problems of life? Bhagavad Gita says the real problem. Real problem of life is we have to be born, we have to grow old, we have to have disease and death. So how's a mobile phone solve that? How's a motor car solve that? We've made no progress in all this scientific development in the last 230 years. We've made many hospitals, but still there's disease and death. Isn't it? I mean, am I just crazy or what? Where's the progress? The real problem is nobody wants to die, nobody wants to grow old, nobody wants to see, but it's forced upon us. Why is it forced upon us? So this is the question, why? We should ask. Right? We should train our children. Why? We should find the answers to these questions. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita is a conversation between a materialistic person in illusion who's seeking the truth, Arjuna, and he's approaching Krishna. Please, why? Why am I in this position? Please help me. So Krishna explains, you are not this body. This material existence is something like a dream. It's not real. You are permanent, you're changing your body, and what we're experiencing is simply like you're going to a cinema and you're seeing an illusion and you're identified with a film. Or at night, you identify with a dream. At night, you have so many dreams. Some good dreams, some bad dreams. But when we wake up, we realize it was a dream. So this is a Bhagavatam understanding. We have to wake up from this illusion that we are this body. So this verse is very important. It helps us to understand. Krishna is educating us because he's beyond illusion. Krishna explaining in Bhagavad Gita that he is the source of all knowledge. Krishna says that there's no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on the thread. So why not? Why shouldn't there be a supreme person? I'm a small person. I have emotions. I have feelings. I have senses. So why shouldn't my origin be a supreme person? Like the spark of a fire. Why can't the fire also have the same qualities as the spark? And the spark have the same qualities as the fire? It's reasonable. It's reasonable that there is God and God is a person. And Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying, I am that person. And he's walking on this planet. 5,000 years ago, doing so many things. Why not? Why we close our minds to such a possibility? So this is Bhagavad Gita. It's a wonderful book. And that's why all over the world, Hare Krishna devotees, we try and distribute this book. And we chant Hare Krishna. Because when we chant Hare Krishna, then we begin to realize, yes, it's true, I'm not this body. We actually begin to realize that, yes, my body has changed many times, but I'm still the same. I remember when I was a child, there's a picture of me when I was a child in my mother's arms. There's a picture of me when I was a little boy at school, picture of me when I was, there's so much evidence that my body's changed. But who is to confirm this? Except the Hare Krishna movement. Who is teaching this? Nobody. Nobody is going around teaching it. The Buddhists, are not explaining this. The Mayavadis, the Prabhupada talks about Mayavadis. They say that our identity is illusory. And that when we're liberated from, just like if you have a pot, with air inside. When you break the pot, then the air becomes one with the air. It loses its potty energy. So in other words, we don't have an existence. This is called Mayavad. Yeah. It's materialistic. But actually, you see from this verse, you cannot subject spirit to any material thing. It's completely beyond, it's transcendental. I am beyond this material world, and everything else is temporary. So it's a very nice verse. And let's open to some questions now. It's more interesting if there's questions. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Pleasure talking. 8:15. How long do we have? Few minutes?
15 more minutes.
Huh?
15 more minutes.
15 more minutes for questions.
Thank you, Maharaj, for coming and blessing the center. Hare Krishna. I am not this body, but I feel like I am. So, some people argue and you speak of, well, we all go through birth, disease, old age, and death. And people are of the opinion, well, so that's it. That's nature. That's nature, and therefore accept it, live in the moment, and just try to accept and tolerate. They may have a sense of, well, okay, so it comes, but that doesn't stay. And they just accept and they'll leave it at that. Okay, accept the pleasures, it doesn't stay, accept the pain, it doesn't stay, and just try to stay in the moment. What could you add to that? Someone who's of that opinion.
Yeah, so that's animal life, no? Animal life, dumb life. If you're intelligent, then you understand that you're preparing. Everyone goes to school. I don't like to go to school. You go to school, why? Because you want to get A-level, O-level, A-level degree, so you can get a better life in the future. You know the future's coming, so why not prepare for it? You know that everyone dies, everybody dies, so why not inquire some way to get around that? Why not try and find out some pleasure which is permanent? Some love affair which is permanent. Sometimes the Beatles made a record, Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band. Because I'm a hippie in the 60s. Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. So, this Hare Krishna movement, lonely hearts. It's all very well live in the present. Well, how do we live? We try and love. Live and love. But yet the person you're loving is not permanent. How do you love someone? Love is the most powerful. People die for the love of the country. They die for the love of the children. What is this love? This is strong emotion. So, how to repose a loving propensity so that we're satisfied? That is Krishna consciousness. Let's go back to yoga. How do we direct our love to the supreme lovable object? Just like a simple example, a corny example. Just like I have something in my hand, a sweet. I don't know what in America you eat. Donut, okay, donuts. Dunkin' Donuts, I see Dunkin'. So you have a donut. Now the hand tries to eat the donut. It's doomed to failure. The hand has to learn. The baby has to learn. You have to put the instinctive action. The hand puts the donut in the mouth. And then the hand becomes strong. So we're according to Bhagavad Gita, we're eternally a fragment of Krishna. That means that there's been no time in the past where we were not a fragment of Krishna. And a fragment means to have the same quality as Krishna. So the part has to function in relationship to the whole. This is the teaching of Lord Chaitanya's philosophy. Chincha Veda Veda Tana. Simultaneously, we're one and different from Krishna. We're one in quality and we're different in quantity. So just like the hand has to serve the stomach and the hand becomes fulfilled. Because it's part of the body. This is a material example. But similarly, going to the Bhakti Yoga, when we learn to love Krishna, we become satisfied. When we learn to serve Krishna, we become satisfied. Because that is our eternal nature. Right now we're in an unhealthy condition. Like you said, you think I'm this body, you think I'm this body. Therefore, you know. But that's not a normal state. So that's this chanting Hare Krishna. Please, my dear sir, you think you're tolerating living in the present? And why are you so worried? I heard that somebody had 25 insurance policies in his house. He hardly had any money, his own insurance policy. How is that living in the present? How can you live in the present? And why you have a job, sir? Why you have a car? Why are you worried about your clothes? You can't live in the present. Because time is killing you every second. You're getting old and you're dying. So that if you're getting old and dying, why don't we think, how to get out of this situation? Isn't that intelligent? The dog, the fish, the cat, I was observing, there's no evidence that they have some form of self-realization. They're like automatons. The insects are automatons. The egg, the larva, the pupa, the moth, and then the moth reproduces, then more eggs, moth, and ahara nidra bhaya matanam cha, samasya mechati pashabhisama. The animals are the same. We have animal qualities, but we also have intelligence to inquire. So I thought these are some of the things I would say to those people. Then why do you care so much about the future, sir? Why are you saying, I want to live in the present? Because you're frightened of the future. Everyone's frightened of the future. But in Krishna consciousness, it's only the future of the body, it's not the future of me. I'm eternal. I've had no past. Never was there, Krishna says, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. We're everlasting, except that we're forgetting. Lifetime after lifetime, we're changing our bodies. So this is a bad dream. Bad dream, wake up. You want to see my film? Bad dream, wake up. 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bad dream, wake up. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If everybody could live in the present, then why are the hospitals full of people and they're trying to stop that disease? This is not practical philosophy. It's not reasonable. It's a natural desire to be immortal. Nobody wants to die. Nobody wants to go away. So why not solve the problem? And Bhagavad Gita says, Advini Pranipatena Pariprashnena Seva. Just try to approach the spiritual master. So Srila Prabhupada was giving us his knowledge, and nobody else gave it. Can you imagine? Even Jesus Christ, he couldn't give us his knowledge. Or else he may have done, but who knows what version of the Bible we've got now. And the Quran is also, with all due respect, it's not clear. what I am, what is the soul, what is the body, what is its nature, what is time, what is the law of karma. No one's explained this except Srila Prabhupada. Bhagavad Gita, as it is a handbook for mankind. It's all there. It's the science of spiritual knowledge. And Srimad Bhagavatam goes even further, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we're an educational movement. In Congo, when we first started preaching in Congo, in Africa, people just ask us, what church do you belong to? What church we would say, because our leader, Balitan, he registered our society under the Ministry of Science and Research. That's what we got on TV many times. So we weren't a religious organization. And actually, you look at the purposes of ISKCON, the first is to systematically teach spiritual knowledge to society at large, to check the imbalance of values. People don't have spiritual knowledge. That's what Prabhupada came to give. He's such an amazing person, an amazing gift he's given human society. And it's all in his books. And in this Mahamantra. By Prabhupada's mercy, this Mahamantra, Lord Chaitanya's mercy, can destroy this illusion that we are this body. Yeah. It's amazing. There was one devotee, he's in Bhaktivedanta Maharaj's temple commander. Somehow or other, he got into contact with this lady in Seattle. And she was dying of cancer. So he got involved and started to preach to her. And get her to chant and everything, just by the internet. There's one good thing about the internet. You can preach. So, and she started to chant. And he started to read the Krishna book, everything to her. And he rang me up yesterday. He said, she passed away. She left her body. And you know what? The last thing she said was, she said, tell Krishna now. Because the body was called Krishna now. Tell Krishna now I passed away. The last thing she said was Krishna now. So, this is a transcendental movement. People may not understand it, but we don't care. We go on chanting Hare Krishna, and whether they like it or not, they hear the holy name, that the soul is awakened from this suffering, birth, old age, disease, and gradually people get awakened. So it's the highest welfare work for all humanity. So it's really wonderful that you're having this outreach program here, and it's a great blessing on Pittsburgh. 2 more minutes. Any more questions? Any prasadam tonight?
Yes.
Oh, good. That's good. That's what we were waiting for. So, yeah.
One quick, you got a question?
Well,
Yeah.
the question was, if no one else has more questions, we'll do a final round of kirtan.
Sorry?
If no one else has any more questions, can we do a final round of kirtan?
Sorry?
If no one else has any more questions, can we do one final round of kirtan before we eat?
We can also have more kirtan before prasadam. You have a question?
That was my question.
So my answer is that, we've got 30 seconds.
What is,
Okay.
is forgetfulness greater or forgetfulness and remembrance? You said to remember we're part and parcel of Krishna.
Yeah.
Is
So
forgetfulness
this is a
or
nice
remembrance
question.
greater?
He's explained in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is giving us forgetfulness and remembrance. Knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. Because Krishna is in our heart. If we want to forget Krishna, He'll let us forget Him. If we want to remember Him, then He'll lead us to a spiritual master. So we have our free will. This is the point. We're not automatons, actually. According to Bhagavad Gita, we have our minute free will. So we can turn to Krishna or we can turn away from Krishna. Krishna will facilitate. Because why? Because he wants us to love him. He can't force us to love him. Otherwise it's not love. It has to be voluntary. So if you want to forget him, okay, you for millions of births you can forget Krishna. But then, after millions of births, Harinaam, you may begin to think, yeah, well maybe there is God. Maybe there is something beyond this temporary world. So Krishna is giving us a chance to love him. And this bhakti yoga is a way. This chanting Hare Krishna, taking prasada, dancing and singing. It's just amazing, no? So nice. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna! Hare Krishna! Krishna Krishna! Hare Hare! Hare Rama! Hare Rama! Rama Rama! Hare Hare! Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Leave it 5 minutes.
Haribol. Let's thank Maharaj and Harinaam Ruchi by loudly chanting 3 times. Haribol! 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 Thank you very much for coming and blessing us this evening. Next Thursday is also a very special program. We have guests coming from Mumbai. Both are doctors, husband, wife. They have been traveling all over the world, preaching and giving their knowledge into their experience about Krishna consciousness for last 4 decades. So don't miss that. That next week is Dwarkadish Prabhu and Vishaka Priya Mataji. They're coming from Mumbai just for 2 days, and we are able to get them here. So please don't miss that opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Cool. It's nice to meet you. Nice Ersa. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I forgot what to do. Head steady right now. Oh, thank you so much. Do you think that the center yeah, that scanner takes okay, yeah.
One with red rice and with white rice.
Okay.
I would recommend red rice. It's your choice. Doing good?
White rice and red rice.
Actually, it even works if you're saying it in yes. If you're saying it
Anyone for rice? Anyone for curry?
Yes.
That's sweet.
It's okay.
You want the beans?
Yeah, but I can go over and get that.
There's more.
Yeah, and it's,
Oh, I know.
British. Yeah, most of the characters like African American women. And so this baby just falls out of the sky, but it's the baby is somehow makes it so cute, but it makes so these terrible things happen. And the baby's so adorable because it smiles and somebody's like,
Beans, anyone?
yeah, period. This is British. You know, the baby's weird, so one of the other mothers who was tortured. Monkey, how very busy. Like smiling like oh, right. Yeah.
It was like that. It was like people were jamming their music in their cars. Like everywhere, you just hear it. Yeah, sure. I don't know what's back out there. So they show us. I was outside making the service at the church and I was out there. They have bands. Okay. No, I'll do like that.
Oh.
But they had a band there. I could hear them all the time. Making them line
You can tell it's for the my son's graduating high school. Pretty good thing going on. I'll go. I live in Fort Young. I'll go for it. And then Megan lives in Fort Young.
Seated. Super long time.
Yeah, I know. Were you by yourself?
Yeah, I was out of town and just water. Thanks. Likewise. Please.
Yeah, I need to keep something.
Good.
But it's funny, but it's really cute old house. I lived there so good for a few days before it comes. Very nice. The recharge and how to see the lights. Yes. I don't know. And my neighbor, well, my neighbor. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Oh, no. That was his first time coming here. Oh, yeah.
Just like what this online this is really like.
Wow. He just gets into, the moment, he's got the mind of the thing, so he's. Yeah. Wow.
That was the first. The first few then she wasn't so much. I was like, I
means Deva means demigods, Nanda means bliss. She just got it. Okay, it's a good thing, Stephanie. Now I want your name, Stephanie. Because the first time it goes in and out. And if I keep saying